Hi everyone. It's very unlikely that you know who I am, but it's time we spoke up about pill testing. We've seen 5 deaths at festivals over the last 6 months due to suspected overdoses. We've seen calls for pill testing falling on deaf ears due to a zero-tolerance approach by a state government who have consistently shown it cares less about its constituents than about protecting corporate interests. Danny Lim's arrest last week should say it all. With the state election right around the corner, what a time to let our voices be heard. This morning, the state premier, Gladys Berejiklian, went on Sunrise to defend her stance against pill testing, and her response says everything that we need to know about why we're in this mess. We have a state leader with no first-hand experiences around drugs, talking to the wrong experts and getting the wrong evidence presented to them on what should be done. Now, instead of getting into a tit-for-tat arguments about pill testing that everyone seems to be having on the comment threads of Facebook, I'd just like to present a different perspective on how we might approach the issue. In the 1970s, a psychologist in Canada by the name of Bruce Alexander, he conducted a series of experiments into drug addiction known as the rat park experiments. What they found were that the rats in their study, housed in isolation, consumed more morphine-laced water than rats living together in the rat park. The study suggested that perhaps the drugs weren't the problem, but how we engage with the world around us and how we connected to other people. When presented with choice, not only in regards to taking the drug or not taking the drug, but as to what entertainment options were available to them, the rats in the rat park more often than not chose the non-drug water. Read up about the study and check out Johan Hari's TED Talk on rethinking addiction. So how does this relate to what's going on now, some 40 years later on the other side of the world? Well, if you look at the cage that we're in, we've been heading more towards isolation than to the rat park. Is it little wonder more people are choosing the drug option? Take the state's capital, Sydney, for example. At present, we're unable to purchase alcohol from licensed alcohol stores after 11 p.m. and are unable to enter a venue after 1:30 a.m. Racing and gambling institutions seem to have priority in determining what they want and where they want to advertise. We have an over-budget and heavily delayed transport network hemorrhaging money every day, a stadium being ripped down before full planning of its replacement being agreed upon. We have heavy-handed policing and monthly fine quotas to raise revenue. To top it all off, we have developers running rampant across town, putting up shoddy eyesore apartments while tearing down architectural heritage buildings. The state of the cage we are all living in is looking pretty dim. Big breath, 10 of them if you can manage. All is not lost. We have the power to change this. Instead of going after one another as keyboard warriors, we should all be directing our energies towards those we have voted for to lead us. Because every one of these deaths affects all of us, and we should be saying enough is enough. We should be demanding better solutions, with better consultation from more people spread across a more diverse section of our society. We should not simply vote and forget. We should be voting and then demanding to see the changes we asked for implemented. It's time we start working together to find a solution that unites all of us. One that doesn't push us further into isolation. Because despite all of our rage, aren't we all just still rats in a cage? If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Please share it with your friends and also share it with people that you have conflicting views with. Please read up on how other countries are dealing with drugs in their society. Portugal had a really radical idea about addiction that just has seemed to have worked. And let's look at ways to work together so that we can find an outcome that works for everyone. Cheers.